I don't sleep at night anymore, and it's ruined my life. It's also saved my life. No, that's not right. I don't live anymore. I exist. I make it to the next day. That's all I can do. I close the curtains, the thick blackout ones like they had in World War II, crawl into my bed, and force myself into a restless sleep. It's not refreshing or relaxing or anything like that, but it's necessary. For the days are no longer mine to do with as I please. I've quit my job. My girlfriend left me. I can't blame her. I'm barely scratching by on my own savings and handouts from those few people who still did answer my calls. Always after dark. I haven't seen the sun in 3 months. 3 months! Can you imagine what that's like? Of course you can't, and I wouldn't want you to. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. My skin is pale and blotchy, my hair is falling out, not in lumps, but it's weaker, straw-like. My nails, oh God, my nails. I have to clip them every day. They're growing at a rate of knots. I'm not eating right. I'm not even shitting right. In short, I'm fucked. But why? I hear you ask. Why? 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 Are you a vampire? No, I'm not a vampire. I haven't been bitten by a bat or an emo spider or anything. As far as I know, I'm not a creature from the lagoon. Sunlight doesn't burn my skin any more than it does yours. I'm not the problem. The reason I sleep in the day is because I have to. And I have to because in the night, something comes for me. I must be vigilant. It started, well, I've already told you. It started 3 months or so ago. It's hard to keep track of the days when you're only interested in watching hours. It was very early in the morning, like maybe 1 or 2 o'clock, and I was settling into bed when I got this sudden sense of dread, as if I wasn't alone. At first I laid awake, my eyes wide, but then finally tiredness planted its hooks into my eyelids and drew them down. I began to drift off. That's when the dream began. It was unlike any dream I've ever had, but now it's the only dream I ever have. I was amongst some trees that ran alongside the street. I was walking slowly, and it was nighttime. Everything was in darkness, though here and there were distant twinkles of streetlights or houses with the curtains open. I had no control over where I was going. I know that sounds like an obvious thing to say, but it felt very much like I was a passenger in somebody else's dream. I was trapped behind the eyes, simply along for the ride. I turned out of the trees and onto the street that seemed familiar somehow. There was nothing remarkable about it, just your standard row of houses split by a road, cars parked along the curb, nose to tail, a few bungalows here, but mostly semi-detached houses in all different styles. There was no community presentation awards here. Dreamy walked slowly and methodically, glancing from side to side as though looking for something. Finally, my eyes came to rest on a lone 2-story home with white wooden paneling on the walls. I started to walk down the drive, gravel crunching underfoot. I woke up then. Something had shaken me from my sleep, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I sat there, bolt upright, mouth dry, hair plastered to my forehead with sweat, eyes wide and unblinking. Eventually, the night terror subsided, and I laid back down and closed my eyes, and was back on the gravel driveway, in front of the same white house. I sat up again. I heard of recurring dreams, but nothing like this. I wasn't even asleep, and yet my heart stopped as I realized why the street was so familiar. And the house. I tentatively closed my eyes again and was immediately transported back to the driveway once more. My driveway, in front of my house. I opened my eyes again. What the hell was happening to me? Every time I blinked, I reached the front door and placed a hand on the wood and screamed inside my mind. For the hand was a thing of nightmares. Pale skin as white as moonlight stretched tight over long, spidery fingers, each impossibly long and thin and ending in black nails sharpened to razor points. I screamed louder and tore my eyes open. I leapt from my bed and ran to the front window, willing my eyes to stay open. The windows at the front of my house don't open, but if I could just angle my head down enough to see. I blinked, and the front door, my locked front door, opened at the merest touch of that ghoulish hand. It was inside my house. I ran to my bedroom door and turned the key in the lock, then, realizing that the lock alone wouldn't be enough, moved to my dresser and bent to put my weight behind it. I blinked again. Of course I did. Have you ever made a real effort not to? And I was in the hallway downstairs, behind the eyes of whatever owned that hand. I took a step towards the stairs, and then I was back in my bedroom, heaving at the old wooden dresser. It was heavy enough to be my ally in the near future, but for the moment, that weight was proving to be a hindrance. I moved it an inch, then 2, then a foot, and then heard a bang against my door. The noise made me blink reflexively, and I spent a moment in that thing's head again, climbing the stairs to meet me. I tried to keep my eyes open. I even held the lids back with my fingers, but it was no good. The thought of whatever was coming, while monstrous, could only starve off the burning protest from my eyes for so long. And so, fraction by fraction, it crept towards my bedroom. I wanted to know more, but as I said, I had no control. Just that one glimpse of horror to make my mind run wild. It reached my door within 20 minutes. I'd done pretty well to slow it down so much, but by this point, my eyes were on fire and I was completely exhausted. Each time I blinked, I kept my eyes closed a little longer. The contrast between relief and utter terror was making me reel. I slammed my weight against the dresser as I watched that dread hand reach for the doorknob. The traitorous handle turned as it shouldn't have, but the dresser held firm. Now I was caught in a strength-sapping scrum. Every time I blinked, the thing outside would get the door open a sliver. Then I would open my eyes and push back with all I had, closing it once more. This went on with a relentless rhythm. I couldn't tell you for how long. Eventually I closed my eyes and there was only darkness. The inky black shot through the nameless color that lurks behind our eyelids. It took me a good few moments to realize that my ordeal was over. I kept slamming my shoulder, bruised and red raw, into the dresser, closing a door that was already shut. I felt a muted warmth on the back of my neck and realized that it was sunlight. I had been saved by dawn. Despite what I had just been through, I curled up on my bed and fell into a thankfully dreamless sleep, as every sleep has been since. I made sure to set an alarm for midday. That would give me time to prepare should it come again. And, of course it did. Earlier this time. As soon as the sun disappeared below the false horizon of distant houses, I closed my eyes and I was back in the woods at the end of the street. I battled it again all night, although this time I had not given it a head start by sleeping. A whole night of spacing out my blinking as much as I could kept it about 2 houses away. It's been like that ever since. I sleep in the day, getting all the rest I can, making sure to set multiple alarms. Then as darkness falls, I fight that thing that is haunting me. I've tried everything from duct tape to special eye drops, but what works the best is simply focus, concentration. It sounds counterintuitive, but reading is a great help. It tires your eyes, of course, but you blink less when you're reading. As long as you're in a good light, it's not so bad. The monster, I don't know what else to call it, has its methods of its own. It's tried different routes, climbing over fences and through people's back gardens. It's tried screaming a horrible, piercing cry. It's unclear whether the scream exists in the real world or just in my head. I imagine the intention is for me to wince or screw my eyes shut or something like that. It's never tried running. I'm not even sure if it can run. After all, I've only seen its hands. But the day it tries, I'm in real trouble. That's not the only thing either. My eyesight is deteriorating rapidly. I've already had to get glasses. I've sacrificed the best part of 2 days of vital sleep for them. But that nightly attack on my eyes is still taking its toll. You'd laugh if you could see how close to the screen I am sitting. And in case you're wondering, yes, I'm writing this now. Don't worry, it's early yet. The monster has barely left the woods. It's reverted to a more traditional route as of late. So to sum up, something comes for me at night, and my life has become a game of cat and mouse in which the only prize is survival for another round. I have a constant headache, and everything is a blurry mess, but I'd beat any of you in a staring contest. Seriously, though, I'm not sure how much longer of this I can go on. I don't want to think about what'll happen if I go blind.